Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we have some random knives and stuff I bought from Amazon. So, kind of just messing around, buying this, buying that. Some of them are companies I've never tried, so I'd like to try them. Others, I know the reliable companies, but there's a lot of random companies out there that are hit or miss. And then sometimes I can usually tell from their website, like whether or not they're good or not. But some, can be surprising at times. Others are just straight crap. So this is the first one. It is a little self-defense KARAMBIT style knife. I believe this one's in D2. It does have the sheath. Now, I'll say for the size-wise, the ring fits good. I imagine that the steel is super soft. And I say that because I seen another one that was very similar to this, and they were saying like their HRC was like 56 or something, which for D2 that'd be very soft. But this isn't something that you're carrying for maximum edge retention, so I don't think it's that big of a deal, and it would make it, pretty tough. So I'm not sure exactly what this one is, but nice little claws. Check out the sheath. Okay, right off the bat, the sheath is crap. I mean, crap. I don't even know how you carry this. This is crap too, by the way. Yeah, I would not want to carry this on my belt. This, I feel it's going to fall out or something. And then this, I don't understand how the clip goes. I guess it would go over. Well, no, because you want this facing up so you can yank it out, but the clip goes the opposite way. Maybe you can always flip it. So I guess it doesn't matter. You can always flip it yourself. But let's get to the next one. That one, it's okay, but I wouldn't advise the sheath. And, for what it's for, I think it would work just fine. I do think it needs a new edge, though, because this edge is not sharp. Now, whether or not it'll take a good edge, it should take a decent edge, at least suitable for what you're trying to do. Now, oh, yeah, okay, so this, I did already open these up and take them out of the wrapper. So this is a kitchen folding knife, or that's what it's advertised as. And I'll say this, it has very thin geometry, really good geometry, but because of the thin geometry, it has a lot of flex. Watch the knife itself. You can see I can flex this blade a lot. A D2 steel, I believe, or was this one 440C? No, this one's D2. Okay, this one's D2. They did have a couple other ones, I think, in 440C. Now, I do think the 440C might be a better bet with something like this if you're going to actually use it in the kitchen. Very light detent, a little bit of detent lash, so that's not good. See, you need a little bit of detent, not too strong of a detent, but you see, it has a very, very light detent, so is it that big of a deal? That's on you. I mean, you can still flick it just fine. If you're actually using it as a kitchen folder, it might not be that big of a deal. It has somewhat of micarta-like scales. I don't know what this material is, but it's micarta-like, but it's not micarta. At least it doesn't seem like real micarta. But nice and comfortable in the hand. You can get up nice and tight to the blade. I imagine, dicing and chopping things in the kitchen, it would be just fine. A little bit of lots of flex, but it feels locked up, but then it also feels like I get a little tiny bit of movement. Maybe not. I'm pressing on it pretty good. I guess it's locked up okay. Centering is wiggly. I might be able to tighten the pivot up a little bit, but regardless. Now, as far as mass-produced D2, its edge retention is not that great. It's it's similar to a budget to low mid-grade steel. Now, when it's done by, say, a custom heat treater or something like that, technically its edge retention can exceed S30, S35VN. It does have incredible edge retention when done very well. But when mass produced like this, it never does. It's all over the board, it's edge retention. So it just depends on who's doing it and how well they did it, what HRC they did it at. You know, that goes for all steels, but some steels are a little bit more finicky. And D2 is a perfectly fine steel for a budget price when it's mass produced, but you know, sometimes it can be not that good, and sometimes it just depends. You know, like I said, it's all over the board, but usually we see it in the budget to low mid-grade edge retention area. So it's usually going to get about the same cutting performance edge retention wise as a budget steel like 8CR, 9CR. Now, in a lot of cases, you see it even get better nets. In some cases, you'll see it do as good as 154 CM, sometimes better. You know, like I said, it just depends. But that's the thing with D2 is it's all over the board, especially when it's mass produced. Next. Okay, so this one's actually pretty good. This one comes with carbon fiber scales. I believe it was S35VN blade steel. I'll put it up on the screen, but the action, good action. The detent, I can easily fail it, but I can also easily flick it open reliably. The reverse flick is great. Thumb flick is great. Has a deep carry wire clip that is reversible, so that's awesome. And this is real carbon fiber. Now, the one, not that big of a deal, but you know, depending on how you look at it, is the edges of this carbon fiber are not done very well. Not that it has a whole bunch of voids or anything, but if they would have polished it a little bit more instead of leaving the edges so rough, you'd see the actual fibers of the carbon fiber, which they did not do. But it seems as if it is real carbon fiber, which is great. Good ergos, nice and comfortable in the hand. The sharpening choil could be a little bit better. They could move the plunge grind back a little bit, but they at least did give you something, so you do have a little bit of life there. And the reverse flick is really good. This is a solid little knife. So this is the best one yet. A little bit of weight relieving on the inside. Good access to the lock bar. It is on bearings, so it is very smooth, not fall shut, but it is somewhat drop shutty. Very smooth. It seems like it has, yeah, I'm not sure if they're ceramic or not, but it does have bearings. And then it looks like and it has a ceramic detent ball, at least it appears to be. So that's cool, because otherwise it would be a steel detent ball. But in this case, it looks like a ceramic. Okay, next. This little guy, the Dreamer. And then we have one more after this. So this is, I don't know why I got this. It just looked kind of cool. So this is a ring knife. So it's an actual ring, and then this spreads apart to fit your finger. And then it has a little button on the side right. Come on, focus. Sorry about my hands. Right there. See that little button? So you just push that button this way, and it pops out a little blade. Now, on it does lock technically. Let me get a little bit closer to the camera. So it does lock, but when you push it, you can feel, ooh, so I can overcome the lock. So that's not good. But it's supposed to lock. I know it did lock yesterday when I messed with it. So I can feel the lock right there, but I can easily overcome it. But what do you expect? I mean, can you imagine the pin system on how it's locked? Now, whether or not that would be effective, no, not at all. This would be like little spider bites if you were actually using this in a defensive situation. You would give them nice little paper cuts, you know, even if swiping and things like that. Would it be annoying? Yes, it'd be annoying. Now, say to use it in any other situation, let's test it out really quick. Let's try it. So let's open up this little prime package. Let's say I haven't opened it yet and I need to slice it across the front. All right, wait, Did it go? No, it didn't. Hold on a second. Let me do it. I'm going to try it again. Okay, if the edge, it can work. If the edge would, let me try the other way. It can work. So, yeah, it'll work, but it's not the sharpest. It would be a pain to sharpen. But anyways, it's fun. It's cool. And like I said, you just push this button over and then close it. That's how you're supposed to. And then it stays nice and nestled in there until you're ready to spring into action. But the problem is when it's on, like deploying it, you just bang. Now you're ready. And then to close it, if you're going to unlock it and do it, you'd almost have to take it off, but you can do it while it's still on. Just a little annoying. Basically sheet metal. I mean, it's not made out of anything of quality. I can tell, like, this isn't, I don't know what, it might be stainless steel, but it feels very flimsy, very low quality, and it feels like it would break pretty soon. But it was very, very cheap. Oh, and it just deployed when I went to put it in the box. Maybe I might have accidentally did that. I don't know. Anyways, let's get to the next one. Now, the last one is... Now, this one's 440C, or 440A. I thought it was 440C. Now, this company I've actually tried before. They're not that bad. Comes with a nice little pouch or whatever, and a cloth. Nice little cleaning cloth. I always appreciate that. So, this one is another kitchen folding knife. That's what it's advertised as. It is on washers, so it is more of the slow roll action. I can flick it, but it's definitely tighter in the pivot, like very tight in the pivot. So, but, you know, for a kitchen utility knife, this is actually a great shape. Nice thin geometry, thin behind the edge. Not the best plunge grinder choil, but not that big of a deal. You're not caring about how beautiful your plunge grind is on something in the kitchen. It does not have a clip, but it's supposed to be going in a drawer or in a camp bag or something like that, you know, so you can prep food on a campsite or in the kitchen. Very comfortable in the hand, but I will say this lock bar, look at that. It's like a saw blade. Somewhat late lockup. I'd prefer it to be right there, but that's not that big of a deal. Nice and centered. And I imagine that would still last a good long time. Little tiny bit of rock, but it's not, is it rock or maybe not? It's so subtle. I think it's just needs to be opened and closed a couple times, and I think it'll be fine. I can flex the blade again, but that's actually a good thing because I want a nice thin blade. You know, the thinner the blade gets, the easier it is to flex. I imagine this is somewhat of a softer 440A. Hopefully it still would take a good edge. You know, that's all. All information I can't give without sharpening it and things like that. 440A is a super simple steel, very, very budget friendly. 440C would be an upgrade from 440A, but for something like this, just for food prepping and, you know, very soft, non-abrasive materials, this would be just fine. Perfectly suitable for things like that. Very easy to sharpen, very easy to maintain. It would strap back over and over and over very well and hone back. So, you know, it's just fine for its purpose. Because, you know, with blade steels, you know, you want to pick a good steel for what you're using it for, you know, and obviously for a preference, but there is still a level of whether or not it's suitable for that. Now, 440C would be I believe a bit more stainless, so that would be a better thing. But 440A is a stainless steel and would be just fine. You know, you're just not going to have the best edge retention. But, you know, like I said, not going through abrasive materials, it's not going to be that big of a deal. So, and you can easily sharpen it and maintain it. I like how it tapers out right here, so it's a little thicker back here. And that saw blade lock bar, if you go right here, yes, it is very uncomfortable, but you can spread your fingers apart and avoid it. And with my middle finger, it doesn't seem annoying. It only seems annoying with this finger right here when I'm back here. But, you know, when you're using your chef knife, you're going to be using it in different grips, so it's not that big of a deal. It looks like a pressed thumb stud. It's definitely not something you'd want to put in a dishwasher. Nice big stop pin. That's cool. Nice big stop pin. Then we have a couple pins back here that are hidden. So if you take off this scale, you'll have screws on in the liners. Not fall shutty at all. I mean, it is nice and tight, but then also makes it feel a little bit more reliable in a way, and you know, it'll keep gunk out of the pivot because it's super tight in the pivot. This is not oiled or anything like that. There doesn't really feel like there's much of a detent. It feels like it's mostly just the pivot tightness holding it. But for what it's for, I think this thing would work just fine. Would it be reliable long term and last for years? Probably not, but you could probably get it to last a good little while, especially for the money. But anyways, that was just a quick look at some random Amazon purchases, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.